As the year comes to a close and Christmas fast approaches, people all around the world gather with their friends and family to talk about all the wonderful games that came out this year. From indie to AAA, there was something for everyone this year, but tradition demands we must pick a few games to declare our personal games of the year. And here at Special Moves, we did just that. We like playing games, we like talking about games, and we played or talked about a lot of games this year. So here it is everyone, our picks for the best games of 2018.
Picking the best game of the whole year is usually quite difficult, but luckily there's three of us and each of us get two picks, so one of the other two will say the other ones that I wanted to say anyway, so that's okay. My first pick is Overcooked 2. Of course it is. It's a lovely game. It's a very fun game. One of my top Christmas recommendations for, if you're watching this at Christmas time, 2018, and you're wondering what game you should be playing with a family, the correct answer is Overcooked 2. It's a lot of fun, really accessible, really challenging in some places, but playing it co-op is like an experience that not many other games manage to replicate, because you need to cooperate on a different level. You've got to operate on a totally different plane of existence. You've got to know what the other person wants you to do before you start doing it. It's really a great achievement in gaming, I think. Overcooked 1 really got a lot of plaudits when it came out. A lot of people were shouting about how fun it was to play and stuff, and Overcooked 2 really just kind of ramps it all up and makes it a lot more it's in like wizarding schools and stuff like that. There's a lot of Hogwarts type stuff. There's a lot of crazy levels this time around, and stuff goes on fire a lot. Stuff kind of moves around the kitchen, and it's not a kitchen simulator if that's what you're worried about. I don't know why that would be worrying, but it's a very fun, light-hearted game where 2 or 3 buttons is all you need. It's a perfect Switch game, it's a perfect console game, perfect sofa game. Definitely one of my favourite games of the year. What I really like about it is that there's all different types of cuisines. You've got Asian food, you've got burgers and that, chips and that, pizzas. There's all sorts of different themes that it goes through, which keeps changing it up and keeps, making it challenging. And sometimes you have to put things through. It's almost like some kind of strategy management sim. How did I make Overcooked 2 about strategy management sims? I don't know, but it has that level of, you have to prepare the food and then you mix it in with another type of food and then you have to put that on a plate. Like you have to do in Settlers and Stronghold and stuff like that. You've got to go through various ways of preparing the food before it can go out, which adds loads of complexity to it. Also, you can play as a crocodile. I think there's a panda in there, definitely a raccoon. There's all sorts of different animals that you can play as. Overcooked 2.
So my first game of the year pick is Pokemon Let's Go Pikachu for the Nintendo Switch. Now, this was perhaps the biggest shake-up to the Pokemon formula we've seen in a long time, mainly because they swapped out the Pokemon catching for the Pokemon catching out of the Pokemon Go mobile game, which admittedly it did not please a lot of old school Pokemon fans, but I ended up quite enjoying the change. And I thought it added quite a lot of freshness to it actually. I never felt bored, I never felt like I was having to grind to get new Pokemon or XP or anything like that. The game was largely the same as the other Pokemon games. Trainer battles were still in there, and gym battles were still in there. You still fought the Elite Four, and you still went up against Team Rocket and all that. All the classics really. And at its core, Pokemon Let's Go Pikachu and Let's Go Eevee are remakes of Pokemon Yellow from the Game Boy Color. And I think it's a good jumping off point for new fans to get into the series, and even for returning fans who might not have played a Pokemon game since the first gen. It's got their familiar Pokemon, the original 151 that they all know and love, and it's just a really well-made game. It's fun all round. Yeah, I think there was not a single moment in this game where I didn't have a smile on my face. It was just a pure joy to play. It was fun from start to finish, and I can't recommend it enough. It's fun for the entire family, and it's one of the most enjoyable games on the Nintendo Switch. So yeah, Pokemon Let's Go Pikachu.
Divinity Original Sin 2 Definitive Edition is a game that I play all the time. Divinity Original Sin 2 I played all the time as well. The Definitive Edition came out this year, so I guess it's one of the games of this year, so that's why I've done it. I know. It's like, can you put a port in your games of the year? I honestly don't know, but what I do know is they added enough stuff in here to justify me saying it. So quite a lot of people that watch the channel are aware of it already, but in case you're not, maybe you're new here. Divinity Original Sin 2 is a sort of isometric CRPG, bit of a Dungeons and Dragons vibe that does a lot of things its own way, and the way it does it is brilliantly. Larian Studios made Divinity Original Sin 1 and I loved it. The second one, how could it improve? It did. Then they made the Definitive Edition. How could that improve? It did. They added like 1 million bits of dialogue. I think it is actually like 1 million words as well. I'm not even exaggerating, like 1 million words. They added a squirrel that rides on a cat, just all sort of standard Definitive Edition stuff really. It also came to consoles, so that's a whole new type of audience for this sort of game, which is normally found on PC exclusively. So a chance for people who have been playing maybe the original one on PS4 or Xbox to finally play it. And wow, if you've got a console, then this is your first time playing it, and it should be in your Game of the Year list as well. There's something about this game that I just love it. I like it more than the games it took inspiration from, really, and I shouldn't be saying that, but I like Baldur's Gate 2, all that sort of stuff. It's like a lovely little cross of all the things I loved as a kid, like Fable and Baldur's Gate, and it just took it to this new thing in a way that has worked for me as a busy adult as well. I can just drop in, play it for like an hour, and that's great, and I can't do that with all the other big games, Red Dead Redemption 2. But this one, I can just hop in for an hour, set some things on fire, pickpocket someone, kill them. That's it, and I'm out. I have a lovely time every single time. It's split screen co-op if you want to play it that way. You can play it 4-player online co-op. If you're playing it on a PC, there's a Dungeons and Dragons map editor mode. Like, the amount of fun you can have on it is endless, and it's like value for money in terms of that is great, but the quality of it is second to none. It honestly might be one of the best games I've ever played, and so I've just had to chuck it in there, haven't I? Even though really, it did come out last year. But there we go, Divinity Original Sin 2 Definitive Edition is one of the best games I've played this year.
My other pick for Game of the Year is possibly another surprise contender. I guess Overcooked was a bit of a surprise, but this I feel like definitely is. Warhammer Vermintide 2. I had an awful lot of fun playing Warhammer Vermintide 2 on PC really early on in the year. It's about February that it came out. It's now on Xbox and on PlayStation. It arrived on Xbox a while ago. It's just come on PlayStation as well. So now the two kind of big home living room consoles have got it as well. It's a 4-player co-op kind of, well, there's no escaping the comparison. It's like Left 4 Dead. Remember that game about shooting zombies, hordes of zombies? Kind of like that, but it does things a little bit differently. Having the dark fantasy setting and stuff, that kind of grim dark world of Warhammer and stuff is really cool. And fighting, you know, you're not just fighting zombies, you know, you've got the Chaos and the Skaven, and then within that they've each got their own horrendous monsters that you've got to fight and stuff. Lots of good cool co-op moments in there. And what I was trying to explain to the guys why I like it so much, and I think, and they agree as well, they're big fans of it as well. What I think stands out for me is the fact that it is like that high fantasy party of, like, you know, the Lord of the Rings. You've got the human, the elf and the dwarf sort of thing, except it puts that in a really frantic action kind of setting, and there's a lot of stress and a lot of pressure, and there's a lot of big set piece moments and stuff like that, and constantly you're on the attack, you're on the move. It's not like a turn-based combat, it's not like a slower party RPG type thing. It puts you in that kind of world, but in a very quick and a very energetic game. I mean, it is really an excellent co-op game. I really can't stress that enough. And if you missed it on the PC, you know, you've got kind of no excuse now. If you've got a PlayStation or Xbox, it's on there now as well. It's a really good kind of package for the price as well. You get a lot of replayability out of this game. I know some people who've played it loads, absolutely loads. For me, almost one of my biggest regrets of the year is not playing more of this. Because it really does deserve the time. It's loads of fun, man. Warhammer Vermintide 2, I feel like because it came out so early in the year, it probably will get overlooked. It always happens every year. There's a couple of earlier games that kind of get overlooked in Game of the Year conversations, and I feel like this has been one of them. I really do think it is that good.
So my second Game of the Year pick, it was originally going to be Red Dead Redemption 2, but I thought, no, I have to stay true to myself. And what is more true to Liam than Yakuza 6, The Song of Life for PS4. So this is the first Yakuza game to use their new Dragon engine, they called it. It was a big revamp. It let them make more open worlds, more detailed worlds. They let it fill them with more characters, shinier graphics. it was a big overhaul to the Yakuza franchise, and it just worked out for the best. So Yakuza 6 follows Kazuma Kiryu, the series protagonist, and this was actually his final outing in a mainline Yakuza game, so it has like a sense of finality to it, and it was sort of like witnessing the end of a years-long epic saga. And so if you don't know what Yakuza is, it's basically a action RPG type game, kind of similar to Shenmue, but at the same time still managing to be its own thing. It blends overly serious, almost melodramatic storytelling with very silly moments of outlandish humour and really, really odd situations. Gameplay wise, it's basically a brawler. There's a lot of melee combat, so you go around, you pull off martial arts moves and you take on gangs of street thugs and all that, and it's really satisfying just to, like, you know, throw someone through a window or whatever. It has a great story, the characters are wonderful, and it's actually a good starting point. If you've never played a Yakuza game, this is a good one to start out on, and I would highly recommend it to anyone looking for something new, or, you know, just like a nice long game that they can sink a lot of time into and have a nice, rewarding, satisfying experience. So, Yakuza 6, Game of the Year.
I'm the only person in Special Moves that played Dead Cells, so I feel a bit selfish picking this one. But it's a game I can't ignore. It's this huge indie hit that had everyone talking about it this year for some reason or another. Even if you're not into indie games, you might have seen it win a lot of awards. It was at the part of some weird plagiarism controversy. It's been in early access for the best part of a year, so you might have heard people talking about it a little bit before it came out. It won awards in 2017 as well, but it's finally out. It came out in August, and this is, unlike a lot of pixel art 2D indie games, this is one I probably would recommend for nearly everybody. I know a lot of them are niche, but I think this could find fans in a hardcore audience, a casual audience, fans that like newer games and they don't just like all this nostalgia based on times gone by and Castlevania worship. It really has got a big appeal, yet it's not a super casual game. It's quite hard to put your finger on it unless you've played it, but when you get your hands on it, it plays like something else. It's obviously been inspired by Castlevania, Metroid, and Rogue Legacy and all that lot. Dark Souls is something it's taken a lot of inspiration from, and the company who made it, Twinmotion, I've said Binding of Isaac is the biggest inspiration, but it feels like its own thing, and I think feel is the key word here, because when you get your hands on it and play it, it's so responsive, it's fast and fluid, that's the meme, isn't it? But there's something about it that's really, really fun to play. Now, it resets every time you die, this prison that you try and break out of, but you can take power-ups with you, so each time you start again, it's not a complete loss. You know, if you maybe unlock some new abilities and things like that, you can keep them for another playthrough. So you are still going through that process of growing and progression, but also, because it changes every time you die, you can just hop in, play it, quit, you know what I mean? It's perfect for the Switch, it's perfect for the P, it's perfect for everything. It's so well executed and such a fresh idea. The only thing bad about it is it's called Dead Cells, and it's not a very good name, but it is about a pile of dead cells that take over a dead prisoner and then possess him. Do you know what I mean? That's the worst bit. It doesn't even sound shit, me telling you about it, do you know what I mean? Mike's agreeing. Other than that, Dead Cells has got a fantastic soundtrack, it's got this huge appeal, and the key factor is you can recommend it to everyone. It's fairly priced as well. Something about Dead Cells that unless you play it, you'll not quite understand, but if you're fortunate enough to have someone that you know that has it, have a spin. You'll have a very nice time. Dead Cells is the best indie game of the year, without a doubt.
So what is our collective game of the year then, and also why are we in different clothes? Just don't worry about it, don't overthink it. I don't know what our collective game is. Do you guys know?
Yeah?
I think so.
It's God of War, baby!
Of course I know what our collective game is. It's God of War. We talk about it all the time. When we were talking about Game Awards stuff in the podcast recently, we were just, talk about God of War for ages. It's like the highest ranking one that we all have in common, sort of thing. So if it's a top 3 for all of us, that's that's the common sort of theme between our top 3 picks for the whole year.
Yeah.
Why do you like it, Liam?
I like it because it plays great, the gameplay is very good,
Yeah.
the combat is very meaty, it had a completely revamped combat system from the older God of War games,
Yeah.
really in your face almost, especially the over-the-shoulder camera.
Yeah.
It had a good story, the music was great, visually fantastic, and as a game, compared to other highly regarded games this year, this one felt the most gamey.
That was mentioning no names.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. No, that's the one thing I was saying as well. Is that it is the most successful video game, whereas Red Dead Redemption 2 is a very successful piece of entertainment. Yeah, novel, TV show.
Yeah.
You can see that working as a lot of different things, whereas God of War is like this pure kind of visceral gaming experience, and they use the fact that it's a video game really well. Whereas with Red Dead Redemption, it could work really well as a TV show or a film or loads of these other things, because it's the story and things and the immersiveness that pulls you through. So God of War, Jake, why do you like it? Why do you pick it?
Well, just like the guy said, it's the gameplay in it. What's the best thing about Red Dead Redemption? The story. What's the best thing about God of War? The gameplay. The story is really good too, though. I like it was quite cinematic in how it approached a lot of things. I like the big set pieces. I like the big dragons. I like the big beards and abs and that and the fighting. But ultimately, it was how everything tied together. It has really nice pacing.
Oh, it's got a good bald head.
Yeah, bald head and beard combo, which is quite the look, but he really pulls it off. I like the axe noise when you get the axe back. That's a really strong noise. I can't do it.
Doesn't sound exactly like,
because I'm not strong enough.
That was kind of
Didn't quite do it justice.
No. That was a weaker sound. More importantly, and
that sounds like he catches a tentacle.
yeah, a carp has just jumped out of the lake.
Squid.
Yeah. Anyway, that's why I like God of War Game of the Year, innit? It was fantastic, and I don't think we'll see another one like that for a bit, actually.
No. So that's it. God of War Special Moves Game of the Year 2018. Surprising no one, but there you go. It's the truth. It's the best game of the year. Thank you very much. Happy Christmas. See you soon.
So there you go, folks. Those were our favourite games of 2018, and it was quite difficult to narrow it down to these picks just because there were so many great games that came out this year. Be sure to let us know what your favourite games of the year were down in the comments. We look forward to seeing what everyone has to say. If you enjoyed this video, please remember to leave a like, and if you want to see more of our delightful thoughts and opinions, then subscribe so you can keep up to date with everything Special Moves. We do have some more videos heading your way over the Christmas break, so be sure to check back often. From the team at Special Moves, happy holidays to all, and we hope everyone had a great year. See you next time.